Week 6 traders. Please excuse me today. I've got the flu. I feel horrible, but I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. So let's stick things in a different perspective. I've been taking some flack, and I understand why. It doesn't matter to me. I know we're still on track. And let me explain this in a different way. Mr. Warren Buffett, a guy we all respect, in 2016 explains there's a correlation between the US dollar and silver futures. He shows you charts from 1973 and explains the US dollar is getting weaker while silver grows stronger. He is going to trade the mining company AG due to the falling US dollar and growing strength in silver. He's capable of guessing the US dollar top within 1%, but he's going to nail it, while guessing the silver futures low in 2016 within 13%. Still respectful. Mr. Warren will continue every single week with a video and explain the market moves as long as you follow his buy and sell rules. There's a reason he established these rules. He just doesn't want you to make bad emotional decisions. If the price is on a lower support trend line while being oversold, then you buy or you stay. If it's a buy, you don't sell. He then shows you the charts from 1973. And he is confident. I think this is a man we would all respect, and those numbers I just showed you sound very respectful. And I hate to ruin the story, but it wasn't Warren Buffett, but it's this guy who got those numbers. Yeah, Mike, I knew you'd enjoy this picture. You enjoy sending it to me when we've been watching the price go down. This is also the guy that caught the US dollar top within 1%. And the silver futures bottom in 2016 within 13%. Pretty damn fucking good. I'm proud of it. I know I'm on the right track, and I'm positive from what I've learned in the past 10 years, the market's not going to give anything to you for free. I am not full of it, guys, although you should keep giving me your feelings. I understand. I'm going to talk every single one of you through this. Stay right where you are. You are not making a decision. You're not making a bad emotional decision. Let's look at the charts and I'll show you why. Okay, so here we go. Mr. Warren Buffett first goes to the silver futures. From 1973 all the way up here to the present time. The only thing we know from the charts that I've been looking at on the monthly chart is that we have an oversold area in 2008 and an oversold area in 2016. And you can see at the present time that's right exactly where we are right now. We're on that lower support trend line. We have 2 hits on there. So then Mr. Warren Buffett's looking for his resistance areas. And the only one that I know of from investing.com on the monthly chart is from 2011 to 2016. That's the overbought areas. And I've got 2 of them that come down, and it seems like the silver futures broke through that, and it just keeps riding that support trend line. So then probably the next thing you're asking is, okay, big deal, so why won't it drop? Because there's no room for it to drop. The professionals aren't going to make money. Business is not bad. It seems to me that there's a whole lot of electronics in our industry right now. As a matter of fact, with the automated cars and the phones and the way everything's going, the space industry, you think silver is going down? You think they're no longer going to use silver for all the electronics and everything else? Of course not. Look at the charts. There's just plenty of room for it to move up, so that's where the professionals are going to take it. Anything below that or anything before the 2008, I don't have the stochastics to compare it to for oversold and overbought areas. I understand that's not what a trader wants to hear, but let's try and look at things logically. So we'll move on to the US dollar. Why is there a correlation between the silver futures and the US dollar? This is from 1973 on the US dollar. And just like investing.com, I have that downward channel. There's not much more I can say on that in this chart. So let's compare it now to the silver futures. You make the decision yourself. From 1973, I tried to compare these two charts the best I could, matching them up. It's not easy. This was from macrotrends.com. Do you think there's a correlation between the US dollar and silver, precious metals, however you want to word it? Seems to me there is. I've got 45 years of proof of while one's going up, the other one's going down. And the reason for that is because these professionals are making a shitload of money doing this. And it's what they're going to do. Silver is pulled back so far, and our industry is not that bad, man. I don't feel as if, I keep listening to the news. News keeps telling me they're hiring, unemployment's down, things are moving in the right direction. Why wouldn't precious metals, considering they're being used, go up in value? The decision's yours now. If you're looking at 2018, that last little bit there, you're missing the whole picture. Keep the whole big picture in mind. What do you think's going to happen next? I'm 100% certain I'm sticking my money where my mouth is. And I don't care about these short-term trends. They don't mean shit to me. I've been doing this for 10 years, and it's not as much as Warren Buffett, I understand. But my confidence is high. And I need you guys to stay with me because I'm certain where this is going to be headed. I just am, in my opinion. This is my opinion. I'm keeping my money here. Okay, let's take a look for the past week in AG's volume. Forget about me for a minute. Let's say it was Mr. Warren Buffett says, man, you need to watch the volume because the only way a stock's going to increase in value is if people are trading it and they get more and more and more people. And he says, in January there was a 34% increase in volume. In February, he keeps watching the volume increasing. And he says, yeah, the price is dropping, but these professionals also use targets. So they'll all team up for the target, and their target's a support trend line, especially if it's like a year long. And right at that oversold level, they'll come back in and they'll start buying that stock. They're going to keep selling this stock till they reach that target, and there may be 51 sells for every 49 bought. Because if these professionals screw up the markets, they're going to get in trouble. Then there's more regulations by our government officials. So they hang out and they'll buy 49 for every 51 sold just to make sure the market keeps doing what it's supposed to. And us blue collar people, we're working at our job, we're minding our own business, doing our own thing. We're watching the market moves and we're like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. Then you come to that last day. That last day is a 91% increase in volume. You're like, well, Joe, it fell, it was down 8% during the day. Yeah, but it's kind of weird that at that last part of the afternoon, the buyers started stepping back in. And why would they do such a thing? It looks scary. Wouldn't AG be going down to zero now? Well, as soon as we look at the chart, you notice we're hitting right on that support trend line, and there's also a pivot point support line there. And it seems as if the closing price ended up right at the pivot point support line at 515. How ironic, how weird. All these coincidences every single day in the market. It's so weird. How do you explain all of this? Almost as if there's a system. What if there was a system you could figure out to increase your odds? I wonder how these professionals make millions and billions every single year, and Goldman Sachs and the thieves and the criminals at Wells Fargo. Never heard any repercussions for their bullshit. What a bunch of thieves, criminals, thugs. Let's figure out their system, guys. Stay with me. Here's AG's monthly chart. I'm comparing it to 2015. 2015 had a long oversold area that seems to be 8 months long. Just like it is here in 2000, it was in 17 and now 18. That's a long time it's oversold. Market is obviously doing things just to throw everyone off. There's a pivot point right underneath where we are right now at 484. Is it going to hit it? I don't know. I'll never know the futures. All I know is that volatility in the markets are picking up finally. It's taken a long time. And there's a possibility that we get another reversal day where there's real long sell-off in the morning on Monday and then buying in the afternoon. 484. I am not going to get punked by it. I'm just going to sit there. I'll ignore it because I know that's where the support area is, which happens to coincide with areas from 2015. Do I think it's going to go down to $2.28? No, I do not. Not the way the dollar is right now and everything else, no. I just have it drawn in there so you know what's going on. That's that last candlestick is February. And I was saying that's what happened in 2016 when the rally started. We have 3 more weeks in February. That candlestick can start turning green in 3 more weeks. I have 0 doubts about it. None. I have watched it many, many times before. I've seen it in one day. We now have 3 weeks in February. It is blasphemy to sell here or exit. Do not. AG's daily chart since we decided to buy December 20th, 2016. Obviously, I made a choice to purchase AG on a lower support trend line while it was oversold. And 1 year later, my choice was still correct. My purchase price follows the rules. I established these rules so we don't have to make emotional choices. It's horrible to do that. I know a year later I made the right choice. I'm waiting for the market or the professionals to do their thing. There was a pivot point, support line number 2 at 515, 514, right there at the end. We're at the oversold, right on that trend line. Considering we just looked at the monthly chart, could I see another reversal day tomorrow where there's a sell-off on Monday morning and it falls all the way to that 484 and then buying comes in all afternoon to pick the price right up back above that support trend line? Absolutely. I'm expecting it, so this way I don't get freaked out on Monday. Maybe it's best you just ignore it. Maybe look Tuesday, Wednesday. We still have 3 weeks in February. I've made these mistakes hundreds of times before where you sell because you made an emotional choice. And then you went back months later and you took a look at everything, and if you would have followed the rules, everything would have been great. And then you sell right now, and then the next thing you know, you don't have as much money and you want to buy it back for that revenge trade. Don't fall into that trap. Stay exactly where you are. This is not a coincidence. These are the professionals driving the prices to where they want to get the best price available to make the most amount of money. And if you think they give a shit about the average person, they don't. Look at Wells Fargo and the bullshit they just did. All these companies. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of them right now. This flu's killing me. Here's the silver futures. I got rid of most of the BS that I've usually had on there. Let's take a look at the big picture and try not to confuse one another. This is from 2004. In 2008, we had an oversold level. That's where I started the line because in 2016 we came to the 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16 came to the oversold level. I waited till the end of 2016 when I noticed things were picking back up. That's that downward blue arrow. That's where I chose to jump into AG because I thought the silver futures were going to climb, and I still do. Let's look from 2011. That's a bear flag coming down from 2011, so it dropped. Then we have another bear flag, it dropped again. Then we had the bear flag that straightened out into 2016. Then we got a bull flag where it goes up and then flags out in a consolidation. And here we are sitting right on that support trend line again. This chart goes on that 2004 area, maybe 3-2, maybe that's oversold in there. This might be 20-year graph here showing you a support area. I do not doubt. I waited for the silver futures to pull back from $50 to $16. I can't calculate what that is right now, but that's, probably an 80% pullback. If that's not good enough, it all sounds logical to me. I don't feel any shame for my decision in 2016 for picking that area. When I look at the big picture, I'm extremely happy with myself. I think this education's going to pay off. I really do. This is my opinion. I don't feel as if I'm going to lose my money. I feel as if I'm going to make a lot of money. And these are the things we got to deal with when you trade. Shit does not come easy. Right now I see the stochastics are turning up. There's no rules that say they have to go to the oversold level or overbought area. If professionals want to buy, they're going to keep buying. It's what I'm expecting right now. I think we broke out of that consolidation period, and I think at the end of February we're really going to notice it. I really do. Here's DO's monthly chart. We're trading above that pivot point for the month, or for the year, I should say. There's a gap at 1350. Considering that there's the gap down there and the volatility is starting to pick up, there is a possibility. There's no rule that says those gaps have to be filled this year. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to expect a little bit more selling on maybe Monday, Tuesday, and then things turn around, just like the global markets have done. I wouldn't be surprised to see the value jump down to that 1350 in DO and then buyers stepping back in after the gap's filled. It's what I expect all the time. So I just wanted to show you this. I'm going to cut DO and the crude oil short. Crude oil weekly chart since 2007. You can see in that last candlestick, the past week, we dropped down from that blue resistance line to find support on the 200 EMA and the 20 EMA, along with the 75% pullback from the top. It's a lot of support area sitting right there, and that was a huge sell-off on Friday. Probably scared the shit out of a lot of people. I wasn't. I had the feeling I knew where it was going to be looking for support. Would it surprise me if more sellers come in tomorrow just to take things down a little bit further, scare the shit out of everyone, and the stochastics stay embedded in the overbought area at the end of the day? No, not at all. It's what I expect professionals do, scare the shit out of everyone and then make a shitload of money. That's why I decided to educate myself on this about support and resistance areas, because I wanted to learn. And look at that for the past 11 years, right where that candlestick came down. I see stuff in 2000 or resistance in 2016. I see resistance and support in 2009 area. History has a lot to do with the future. You're going to notice the professionals trading the same levels over and over and over again. They're going to use them for resistance. They're going to use them for support. It's going to cast doubt, and it's also going to cause rallies. As soon as we find support in this area, I feel as if the crude oil futures are going to skyrocket to that $87 area. That's where I see the next resistance, and it's also my measured move from the inverted head and shoulders pattern on the bottom that I've been calling for the past year. This is also going to give me confidence in silver. That's why I'm not scared of what's going on. I know a lot of you are not happy with me. completely understandable. But I'm hoping that my confidence, and we keep talking about this, helps you. None of this is an accident. None of this is coincidence. This is the way they do it. Let's learn their tricks. We'll play by their rules. Let's make some money. US dollar daily chart. Now this is that rising wedge pattern I've been talking about. The one thing I want to point out is that blue arrow at the top. That's where I decided the US dollar had topped out. And due to that pattern, I had the feeling that sellers were going to come in and take charge. And I know I'm fucking right with that. I'm proud of that choice. I nailed it within 1%. And I doubt Warren Buffett can, well, a guy might be that damn good, who knows. I don't doubt this choice. I chose a mining company, AG, because it was a good company. I chose that because I thought the US dollar was going to fall, and I thought the silver futures were near a bottom. You're never going to get things exactly right, but I did fucking pretty good in guessing the silver futures and the dollar. And my opinion is that AG is going to do good as soon as I give it time. Now, one of the things I haven't explained to you guys before is the measured move on these rising wedges. And that's the thickness of the base, where you see I have that vertical double arrow, is the measurement from where it breaks out at number 6. Now that vertical arrows I have near number 2, that may not be the exact thickness. I think it's going to come down to that green trend line. The professionals use these measured moves to know where to buy and where to sell. It is my belief this whole thing, they have it down pat. And I do believe that I have a fix on their games. I'm not going to know exactly what they do, but I'm close enough to getting it after 10 years of what they might do. I believe as soon as that retracement back up to that red horizontal, which is now going to be a resistance line, they're going to continue to sell that to the green trend line. And the more the US dollar falls from the charts we looked at the beginning, the silver futures are going to run up. I think it's going to be a damn good run up. And I know those guys want to make a lot of money, and I'm just going to follow them. I don't have any doubts about this from December 20th, 2016, where that blue arrow is. I'm fucking proud of that. Very proud of that. Okay, now that we've taken a look at everything, I just want to ask yourself, if these rules, charts, and opinions seem far-fetched, or has everything made logical sense over the past year? Do you honestly believe that there's a correlation between the US dollar and the silver futures or precious metals? And if you do, why wouldn't you stay exactly where you are? Because we're going to take a look at all the proof once again real quick. Do you think these professionals make millions every single year? Check the profit in Goldman Sachs. It's there as a fact. It's impossible for this to happen by chance, and I've learned this sort of stuff in probability and statistics in college. I don't give a shit what happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The close is going to tell me what is important on Monday, Tuesday. Even if the value closes below that support line and then hops back on top of it the following day, I've witnessed it before. The 28th of February is going to tell me the truth. I, with 100% certainty, know I am going to be here till the 28th of February in these trades. Now let's just take a fast look at everything else once again. AG's daily chart since the beginning of 2016. The blue arrow is my purchase price, December 20th, 665, right on that pivot point support line number 2. That's when I decided it was a great time. We'll talk about why I decided that. Well, the first thing is that AG was oversold at that area, and I knew in 2016 it looked like a resistance area. Now the lows were at 240 in 2016. The high was at $19.15. I waited for the stock to pull back 75% before I started talking about it. And one thing we should notice, in January 2016, there was a sharp decline in January right before the rally started. That decline mostly happened in January 2018. If you look towards the end, it continued until February. February is when the rally started in 2016. My opinion is that the rally is going to start in February 2018. We're oversold. We're on that pivot point support line number 2. This is a sound trade. I waited 75% pullback before stepping in. Now, why did I do that? Let's take a look at the US dollar and the silver futures just once again. And here we go. There's on the silver futures and the US dollar, the up and down arrow is December 20th, 2016. The reason I decided to buy AG on that day, after it was in the oversold area, after it found support on that pivot point line, is also because the silver futures I thought were at the bottom, and I picked it within 13% of the bottom in 2016. That's very fucking good. And then within 1% of the top in the US dollar, I picked it. All of it coincided on that day, December 20th, 2016. Do I feel shame in my trade right now? Fuck no. The reason I told you guys I was buying a silver mining company was because I felt the dollar was going to fall, and I felt silver futures pulled back so far over that long distance since 1973 that it was time for us to step in. AG pulled back 75% off its highs. Does any of that not make sense to you? Now, taking all those facts, should I be ashamed of AG or run scared right now? No. All of the reasons I decided to buy it are still in play. I still feel as if the US dollar is going to fall. I still feel as if the silver futures are going to go up because it's on the support lines. This is where you step in. This is where you purchase. That's why I have these rules, so I don't have to go running around with my head cut off 1 week thinking it's time to sell, 1 week thinking it's time to buy, and then all these emotions running in. I'm done with the emotional bullshit. I'm using logic. I'm following these rules, and I'm going to do or die on this. I am certain I'm going to be successful, and the only thing I'm scared about is you guys sticking through this all the way through February, no matter what happens in the beginning of this week. You got 3 weeks, man, till the February monthly candlestick happens on AG. And I'm certain for myself that it's going to pay off. I know it is. Look at the volume rolling in. Volume in January is 34% up, and I'm watching it just continue in February. This volume's going to start increasing further and further, and I can't wait to see it this week. You guys want any peace of mind, just calm yourselves, watch that volume. That volume's still increasing in AG. I'm going to tell you, man, there's a lot of that going for the buy side. I'm certain of it. Stick with your guns, man. Don't falter on this one. I will not. All the way through February, I am standing my ground. I can guarantee that.